Hey guys, it's Heather here with Underwater Panther, and I'm going to do a brief recap on the prior videos that I am uploading currently. So we went over the Venus current and the Taurus Scorpio axis. We are talking about Venus, the full moon in Taurus in November of 2025. So we began the journey by opening the Venus current, remembering that Venus isn't about effort, she's about coherence. She governs the law of resonance. What you honor multiplies. We learned that pleasure precedes prosperity, gratitude expands value, and beauty itself is a magnetic field. When we move in grace, reality begins to organize around that frequency. Then came the Taurus full moon, the Earth's heartbeat. It slowed the world to its natural rhythm and reminded us that abundance begins in the body, not the mind. We practice grounding through the five senses: scent, sound, touch, taste, and sight, and saw how safety in the nervous system is what truly opens the flow of wealth, love, and creativity. The moon showed us that embodiment is the ritual and that simplicity is sacred. So I have actually pinned in the comments and the description box below on my videos. I think Taurus was my second astro-psychological ebook that I wrote. It goes very in depth with Taurus, or the ESTJ. It breaks down all of the planets within Taurus, including Venus and the moon and Mars, etc. It goes into the astrology portion of the personality type as well as the psychological portion. So it gets extremely deep with personality types, tying astrology to psychology, but I really wouldn't have it any other way. So if you're interested in diving really deep into those aspects of Taurus or Libra, I have two pretty big ebooks on those personality types, which breaks down the planets, cognitive functions, etc., etc. So it's very in depth. If you're interested in that, check that out. I also have an ebook embodying the 12 personality types, astro-psychological style in a nutshell. So if you're curious on learning more about that, check that out in the description box. Can't remember how much it cost. I think it's $11 or so. All right, so next, after we talked about Venus and the Taurus moon, we entered the shadow work of wealth, the Taurus Scorpio axis, and I already need a drink. I've got my bay door open right now. Of course, the full moon is fully blasting right now. So I've got my bay door open. It's windy as heck outside, so it's kind of getting my throat all screwed up, but it's totally okay. I love the elements. All right, so next we entered the shadow work of wealth. So that's the Taurus Scorpio axis. I broke down Taurus quite a bit, and then as well as the shadow side of Taurus, and I did touch on the shadow side of Scorpio, and so the Taurus, Scorpio are on an axis to each other for the astrology people. We face a polarity between holding and releasing, comfort and transformation. Taurus showed us where we cling to what's safe. Scorpio revealed where we cling to control. We learn to transmute scarcity, shame, and crisis addiction into gratitude, surrender, and emotional power. The deeper lesson was clear. What we hold with love, we keep, and what we release with faith returns tenfold. So I will be breaking down Scorpio a little bit more and continuing in this series. Now, as the Venus current moves towards the 1111 gateway, We merge everything we learned. Venus's law of resonance, becoming coherent. Taurus's embodiment and gratitude, grounding wealth into matter. And Scorpio's shadow alchemy, freeing energy for new creation. I did get into a little bit about how Scorpios, they have 3 stages in their personality that they go through. They are the Scorpion first, and then the Eagle, and then the Phoenix rising. So if you're interested in that, check that out in the prior video. So, but first, the current rises into its most intimate initiation. Okay, so we're going from receiving with Venus to stabilizing with Taurus to transmuting with the Taurian Scorpion axis, and then we get into the circulation phase with the Black Friday gateway. So we're going from the Venetian Taurus Full Moon, that's the first portal, which is today. And now we are headed towards the 11/11 gateway, and then we are headed towards the Black Friday gateway. So that is a trinity. That is what I'm breaking down in depth here in these videos currently. All right, so we are going into the intimate initiation, the transmutation into circulation, the sacred alchemy of Venus and Scorpio, healing through desire. This is where love meets power and pleasure becomes prayer. We'll explore how sexual energy is creative energy, how money and desire flow through the same channel, and how reclaiming sensuality restores your magnetism. Together, Venus and Scorpio teach that vulnerability is voltage and that healing shame is the key to unlocking both intimacy and prosperity. In this next transmission, we'll move through the shadow of desire and the wounds of the second chakra, which I actually have a really amazing... Oh shoot, let's not knock my computer over. So I got this, like, the 7 chakras, this amazing woman. She is a entrepreneur in my little town, and she was personally using this in her business. She was having yoga people in her studio. It's a really awesome herbal shop. I absolutely love it. Sage and Tonic, shout out to Sage and Tonic. I freaking love you. She gave me this chakra chart here that she was actually personally using. Thank you for this. I still use it. So I will break down the sacral chakra a little bit later. All right, so I got off track. Where was I? Okay, so the second chakra is the sacral. How to transform control into connection and shame into sacred power, the alchemy of sexual energy as creative currency, and how the 11/11 mirror and Black Friday current magnify whatever frequency we stabilize, fear or faith, contraction or coherence. So take a deep breath, slow, deep breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. Feel the pulse beneath your ribs. This is the Venus Scorpio portal, the descent into divine electricity. It's not about chasing what you want anymore. It's about becoming magnetic enough to let it find you. All right, Scorpio energy. I'm actually ruled by Mars. I'm an Aries rising, and my Mars is in Taurus in the 2nd house. And other than that, I have a lot of Capricorn and Venusian energy with my Pisces. Piscean, Sun, Venus, North Node. My Mercury is in Aquarius in the 11th house. So, yes, I definitely get this energy very deeply. My Pluto is also in Scorpio, and I always wear my Phoenix Rising necklace. I take self-transformation, self-development very seriously. I have my entire life. So here we are. You are in my Capricorn Aquarian container currently. Thank you so much for being here. Please like and subscribe. And feel free to comment below what you are currently thinking, feeling, and experiencing. All right, so the Taurus Scorpio, where was I? Oh, okay, so the sacred alchemy of Venus and Scorpio, healing through desire. The Taurus Scorpio axis is not just the wealth polarity. It is also the axis of creation and regeneration, where Eros meets transformation and pleasure becomes power. Venus rules the body's capacity to feel and receive. Scorpio rules the soul's capacity to surrender and merge. Which I giggle at that because I am a Piscean in the 12th house. It just makes me giggle. My father's a Scorpio, and yeah, I have known personally a Scorpio for a while, and it still makes me giggle. Yes, they're deep. It just depends on where they're at consciously. They think they're deep, but they don't get as deep as a Pisces in the 12th house. So good luck. I am the ocean. All right, so together they hold the key to healing every distortion around sex, intimacy, money, and emotional safety. The 4 pillars of energetic exchange in human life. So the shadow desire, wounds of the second chakra. All right, so I'm going to pull this out actually. I've studied so many different systems, it's hard to remember everything off the top of my head. So I am the note queen. I have so many notes. I just started writing books. All right, so the second chakra is 4 fingers above your genitalia. It represents the gonads, prostate, reproductive system, spleen, and bladder. So it's the splenic plexus. The type is social gregarious type, social ambition. It is symbolized by a lotus with 6 petals, corresponds to the color orange. Key issues involved are relationships, emotional needs, pleasure, and on the downside of violence and addictions. Potentially, physically, this chakra governs reproduction. Mentally, it governs creativity. So the sexual, creative, animus energy. Mentally, okay, so emotionally, it governs joy and spirituality. Or spiritually, it governs enthusiasm. So principal emotions, mantra sound is VAM, V-A-M. Harmonious, balanced, and easygoing, nothing hidden. Disharmonious, unable to express emotions. Metal is tin, planet is moon, crystal moonstone. We have aroma sandalwood, which is actually like my favorite smell besides amber. I absolutely love the woodsy smells and ocean smells. All right, so that was a little bit about the second chakra. So every person carries cellular memory of rejection, shame, or misuse of sexual energy, whether from lineage, early experiences, or collective conditioning. Scorpio's domain is the underworld of this memory. 8th house. I actually made a really good YouTube video. I can't remember if I had a good microphone at that point. I might have to do that video over because I got a new microphone that you can hear me a lot better. But yeah, the 8th house is the underworld, the taboo, the secret, and the unspoken. Venus descends here not to judge, but to reclaim the lost pleasure that once belonged to the soul. When unhealed, these shadows create distortion in both intimacy and prosperity. Fear of surrender is fear of abundance. You crave control to avoid pain, but control blocks flow, both erotic flow and financial flow. Shame of the body, disconnection from pleasure. When you suppress sensuality, your creative current stagnates. You stop magnetizing beauty, opportunities, and joy. Power through manipulation, loss of true magnetism. Using seduction to get rather than to give reverses the current. Energy leaks instead of multiplies. Sexual energy as currency. In occult and tantric science, sexual energy is the raw, creative voltage of life. The same current that grows a body in the womb, blooms a rose, or fuels genius invention. This is not mere physical desire. It's Kundalini, the serpent coiled at the base of the spine, awaiting awakening. When repressed, this energy turns inward as anxiety, frustration, or compulsive need for validation. When released with awareness, it becomes the very frequency that magnetizes abundance, love, and spiritual illumination. Venus teaches receptivity. Scorpio teaches transmutation. Together, they turn desire into divine electricity. Key teaching: pleasure is not sin, it is synax. It is how the soul speaks to matter. I'm glad I'm going over all this again with a better microphone. Makes me so happy. All right, so Scorpio's path: death of shame, birth of power. Scorpio, we're currently in Scorpio season. How y'all feeling? Is it intense or what? Scorpio's initiations are erotic in nature, not always sexual in form, but always about union. Every true transformation is an act of intimacy between what you were and what you are becoming. The ancient mystery schools taught that sexual union mirrors cosmic union, the merging of masculine and feminine, light and dark, spirit and body. Scorpio's sacred task is to burn away guilt until only reverence remains, to reclaim the holiness of desire, not as a distraction, but as devotion. When Venus and Scorpio align as they do now through the full moon, through 1111 and the Black Friday Trinity, we are asked to cleanse the distortion that pleasure is dangerous or power is corrupt. Because in truth, pleasure without presence becomes addiction. Power without love becomes domination. But when pleasure and presence unite, power becomes creation. Venus's path: receiving as healing. Venus is the softer teacher. She whispers, let go of performance, return to sensation. She heals through embodiment, the slow return to your senses as sacred instruments. When Venus meets Scorpio, she doesn't run from darkness, she brings light into it. This is a moment you stop dividing holy and human. Your body becomes the temple, your breath the hymn. Shadow healing through Venus requires gentle exposure. Touch the places within you that tremble to be seen. Hold them without agenda. They are your gardens of your awakening. So some healing mantras you can say to yourself: my desire is divine. My body is an altar of creation. I release shame and receive sacred pleasure. Wealth and sexual energy, the hidden link. Money and sexuality flow through the same chakra, the sacral center. Both represent exchange of energy, giving and receiving, offering and claiming. When one is blocked, the other constricts. When you heal your relationship with pleasure, money begins to move with you. This full moon, 1111, and the Black Friday Trinity creates a energetic ladder. Taurus Full Moon, the grounding, sensuality, and self-worth. 1111 Portal, awakening the magnetic mirror of attraction. Black Friday Current, activating the collective money flow. The spiritual wealth key is not more effort, but higher vibration. The inner permission to feel good, safe, and open to receive. When your sexual energy flows freely, it acts as an auric magnet, pulling in experiences, people, and resources aligned with your pleasure frequency. You become wealth itself, not chasing, but attracting. So, healing practices for the Venus Scorpio integration. Breath of pleasure, Venus practice. Inhale through your nose, imagining silver light filling your chest. Exhale through your mouth with sound, a sigh of release. With each cycle, say inwardly, I receive, I allow. Continue until warmth spreads through your body. Now we're going to go into a Scorpio practice, the serpent breath. Sit upright, visualize a coiled serpent at your base. Kundalini. With every exhale, feel it rise slightly. When it reaches the heart, visualize the serpent turning gold. Whisper, desire becomes devotion. Sacral bath for rebirth. Combine cinnamon, rose petals, and a few drops of clove or patchouli in warm water. I highly recommend patchouli. I absolutely love that smell. Stir it in while saying, I cleanse the shame, I awaken the flame. Soak or anoint the lower belly with intention. Visualize energy flowing smoothly again. Money pleasure mirror. Stand before a mirror and say it out loud. As I honor my pleasure, I expand my prosperity. Smile until it feels real. Place your hand on your womb or lower abdomen and breathe until you feel tingling. That's the sacral current reawakening. Integration affirmation. My pleasure is my prayer. My vulnerability is my wealth. My power is the peace that follows surrender. Closing reflection, the alchemical marriage. In every human heart, Venus and Scorpio dance. Love and power, beauty and truth, holding and releasing. The Taurus full moon invites you to inhabit your body as a temple. The Scorpio current invites you to die to shame and be reborn in passion. Together they form the Hieros Gamos, the sacred marriage of soul and flesh. When you master this dance, you no longer chase love or money. You become the magnet that draws them in effortlessly. And under this moon, with the portal of 1111 ahead and the wealth tide of Black Friday approaching, that magnet hums louder than ever, asking, not what do you want, but are you ready to feel it? All right, so next I'm going to get into the occult wealth trinity, Taurus full moon, 1111 portal, Black Friday current. Starting with the Taurus full moon, the root of gold. And I'm going to take a brief break and check on my audio and check on my YouTube videos uploading. It takes quite a while. It is so frustrating, but it is what it is. I live out in the middle of nowhere on the farm, so maybe I should get what's his face? Elon Musk, what do you call it? His internet service, whatever it is, Starlink or whatever. Yeah, I should maybe look into that. I don't know. But anyways, yeah. So like and subscribe, comment below, check out the prior videos, and I will see you in the next video.